big mistake I see in the poor is focusing on the left side of the quadrant. Many people say, I want to do what I love, but that's not the path to becoming a wealthy person. Let's talk about assets and liabilities. One of the most important things you have in life is time. Time is your greatest asset. I just turned 70, and I have friends who have nothing, absolutely nothing. Today's lesson is that many people spend their time focusing on the wrong side of the cash flow quadrant. They want to make a lot of money, and I can hear in their words they say, oh, I want to have a career. Having a career puts you on the left side of the quadrant. Or, I'll start my own business, be self-employed. It still keeps you on the left side of the quadrant. The cash flow quadrant is divided into two sides. On the left side are employees and small business owners and self-employed individuals, like a doctor, a lawyer, a designer, etc. On the right side are professional investors and big business owners. When I was younger, I knew I wanted to get to the right side of the quadrant, and that takes time. That's where the big gains are. My wife Kim and I are on the right side of the quadrant today, and the money is huge, but it takes time to get there. The big mistake I see in the poor is focusing on the left side of the quadrant. The words are, I want to do what I love, but that's not the way. If you want to become a wealthy person, in real life, sometimes you have to do what you hate. People think I enjoy writing books. I hate writing books, but it reflects my purpose in life. It's not my passion. It's my purpose in life because my purpose is to stay on the right side of the quadrant. Many of these people get stuck here doing what they love, and that's the worst scenario you can find yourself in when it comes to money and wealth. As I said before, these people pay the highest fees, 40% here, 60% in fees here, 20% here, and so on. When I was under 20, I knew I wanted to get there and wasn't doing what I loved. I had to learn what I didn't want to learn. I had to do what I hated. I had to learn about taxes, learn about debt, take courses, learn about financial security. I was doing a lot of things I hated to get here. These guys never do that because they live their passion. I want my passion. The difference between passion and purpose is for others. So my purpose was to get here so I could serve more people, okay? So I have employees here and everything. I don't buy companies, banks, mutual funds, because as a professional investor, I can create my own businesses, right? If you ask anyone, they'll all say they want to do what they love, and that will take them exactly to the left side of the quadrant. And it's on that side where you pay the most fees and everything else. When I was on the left side of the quadrant, it was okay because I didn't have much money. Because the government takes all your money anyway, right? 40% in taxes because nobody will justify it to you. You're on the side they control, so they justify it because of that. I had to learn what I hate, but I learned. So, the big mistake for the poor is, I'm going to do what I love, but what do you love? Plus, I love my freedom, and I know it sounds cliche, but I love making money. I'd rather have a lot of money than no money. I've been on both extremes. I've been bankrupt, I've been rich, everything, but I prefer to have a lot of money. So, it was my purpose to come here to the right side of the quadrant. The big mistakes I see the poor making are here. They think about what they want to do, what they love. In other words, they consider the right side of the quadrant first. Most young people, or should I say, inexperienced people without financial education, poor people, believe it's all or nothing, but that's what exists on the left side. When I was older, I knew the assets I wanted to acquire. The richest own businesses. You're an entrepreneur if you can't stop working. I stopped working years ago because I have a company. A huge difference. It was painful, but I made it. So the first one is a business. When I was in my 20s, I knew I was going to do what I wanted. Go to school, study, learn about fees, debt, security, accounting, judgments, and everything else through the business. Next is real estate. I love real estate, but most people can't do what I do because they don't have a business. They don't have enough money to get here. The reason I make more money is that I'm not doing what I love all the time. Sometimes I do what I hate to have the assets I love. I love having a business. If I didn't have a business, I wouldn't have a CEO and a president. I wouldn't have accountants. I wouldn't have lawyers. The business shapes the lifestyle I want. And then I invest in real estate. I've never walked through a piece of land or a building that I didn't love. And then most people invest in paper. And that's fine. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. They're not my game. I don't love them. In fact, I hate them, but for these guys, it's perfect to have paper, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, and everything else because their focus is on the left side of the quadrant. They want to do what they love, they want to reach the top, they want the career, they want that. So, the last one is commodities and the four basics. Lots of commodities like food. Farmers get rich by providing food, which is good. I invest in food. I invest in avocado farmers to provide food, oil, gold. I love these things. I love avocados. So I'm doing what I love. I don't like bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. So I invest in what I love instead of doing what I love. And these guys do what they love, but most of them never get here. And that's like Steve Jobs, Zuckerberg, Bezos, Amazon, and they have all the money in the world. That was my plan in my world. As I said, I see people chasing shiny objects, and what a shiny object means is, you know, when you fish. You throw something shiny and the fish comes and you fish. That's what most people do. Bitcoin today is a shiny object. I'm not saying you can't make a lot of money with it, but most people are chasing shiny objects. They want to make money. They're not building an asset. The reason they don't do it here is that it's the highest risk. Now, this is what I know. The higher the risk, the more education it takes. For example, if I wanted to fly my little Cessna 172, my plane, everywhere, there's not much risk in that. But when I had to go to Vietnam to fly, the risk increased. I had to study more, become better, work harder. The reason most people stick to paper, mutual funds, and chasing shiny objects like Bitcoin is that they don't want to take the risk here. They are huge. You have to study. That's why we have the rich dad, poor dad education, so that everyone can have access to real financial education. If you choose the left side of the quadrant, you don't need to be smart to be here. You don't need to be smart for Bitcoin. I have 4 Bitcoins or 5 Bitcoins, and I don't need to do anything. However, when I position myself on the right side of the quadrant, I need to know a lot. I need to study. So, if you want to look at shiny objects like the business market and all that, you can get rich doing that, but it's very easy to get into it, and it's very difficult to get into it correctly on the right side of this quadrant. And I have with me that I must be suspicious of anything that seems too easy. From experience, those have always been my worst deals. So, today, and I'm making millions and millions, I make more in one day than people make in a whole time. But it was worth it. I lost. Sometimes yes, but it was worth it. You must accept risks when you decide to play on the right side of this quadrant. That's why my poor dad was poor. He didn't like making mistakes. Something really important for people to understand is about why this is better. For most people, it's because it's liquid. You can buy a business, make a mistake, and get out. You buy an ETF, make a mistake, and get out. That's good. It's crucial. When you get into the real estate market, you're not liquid. That's why you need to be smarter when you get in, because if you make a mistake, you can't just get out. If you buy something bad, you're stuck with the mistake. The same goes for businesses. You get in, you're committed, you can't get out. I can't just quit. Employees quit, leave, but if you're on the right side, you can't get out. So that's why liquidity is crucial. Businesses, mutual funds, ETFs are good because they are liquid. You make a mistake and get out, those things are hard to get out of, including the real estate market. The real estate market is hard to get out of sometimes. If you make a mistake, you get stuck with the asset. But the key word is liquidity. The less liquid, the more high financial intelligence is needed. You need to be much smarter. And most people have that ability, have the ability to be as smart as, but they prefer to do what they love instead of investing in what they love. Any failure should inspire you to become smarter. Unfortunately, our school system says that if you fail, you are stupid. That's not true. We learn from mistakes. Mistakes are opportunities to become smarter, to be humble, and look at something. The problem with most people today, when they leave school, is that most haven't learned much. I don't remember my 3rd year of calculus. I have no idea what I learned there. But I learned that I failed. So, failure was a very painful subject. I also failed English twice in school, and today I am known as a writer. Failure is the key to success, except in school. Lesson 1. Failure does not mean you are failing. Many entrepreneurs believe that failure is the end, whether of a company, project, or endeavor. In fact, what we don't realize about failure is that it only shows what didn't work and offers a lesson for you to take into future ventures. Failure does not mean you are failing. It simply means you have found a way that doesn't work and can move on to the next lesson. Lessons are not as complicated as you think. Nobody likes paying fees, and many people get frustrated seeing rich companies and individuals not paying fees. There are many legal ways to benefit from these privileges, and it's important to do some research to understand how you too can take advantage of these opportunities. In school, they offset the risk by saying you need to memorize the right answer. Kids come out of school thinking that if they know the right answers, there is no risk, and that drives old folks like me crazy. Everyone is talking about the new generation. What's wrong with them? This is the most educated generation in history. They have the cell phone. They weren't educated in school. They were educated on social media, on cell phones. They know all the answers, but they're afraid to act. The biggest problem with this generation is that they know all the answers, but can't do anything. The reason they can't do anything is because they're afraid of hurting someone's feelings, of making mistakes, and that keeps them stuck in this little box. Because if you're going to come into my world, the world of the old or the world of information, you need to understand what's dangerous and what's not dangerous. And in my world, playing it safe makes you stupid, because if you don't take risks, you don't become smarter. The first thing schools do is punish for mistakes. People are punished for making mistakes. It's not encouraged. We want you to make mistakes, and then you only learn. Yes, speak loudly, speak fast, learn and move on. And if you make a mistake and don't tell anyone, if I don't tell anyone, then the team doesn't learn from the mistake. And if you cover up the mistake, then I'm punished. Without covering up the mistake, you probably got reprimanded for it. The worst thing that can happen in an organization like this is when you make a mistake and cover up the mistake. That's the worst thing, but that's what they teach in school. Lesson 3, learn to take risks. Taking risks may seem scary at first, but by allowing yourself to take risks in life, you grow not only as a business owner, but also as a person. If you're able to take risk, do it. I believe the biggest secret of my success is that we all had it. We all have some emotional things. Emotionally, I'm a mess. I get angry, I get upset, I get sad, I get hurt. And I always say, this is good, this is bad. You watch politics, everything is good and bad. It's a lot of crap, but what keeps me going is this. And it's spiritual. How can I serve others? Lesson 4, find ways to serve others. Most people don't realize that by being able to give back to your community, whether with time or money invested in sports equipment, school events, local games, or whatever else interests you, you become an important figure in the community and create a stronger connection with its members and customers. I can tell you with all the confidence in the world, serving others is the smartest way for you to achieve your long-awaited financial freedom. Think about it. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Until the next video.